Next turn we're going to get an emblem here, and he can play a replacement Teferi. Actually, he's probably going to go ahead and negate this just to speed it up. He doesn't have to. You could just let this resolve.
Yep.
Keep picking your Teferi up. But
he absolutely could.
I think he just wants to get that emblem and get this going. He's ready to have some dinner.
Indeed, indeed. So here it is. Teferi, -8, going to make a Teferi emblem. Quick look at the graveyard there for Skybills. But this emblem says whenever Luis Salvatto draws a card, he can exile a permanent from his opponent. And that means that those 6 mountains are not long for this world.
Well, he wisely hasn't jump-started a Chemister's Insight. So now at the end of turn, he can cast 2 Chemister's Insights, each draw 2 cards, bye-bye 4 mountains, untap, draw another one, and then that's it.
There's a Wizard's Lightning off the top of the library. The window's going to close quickly for her to have mana to even cast that. And it doesn't look like it's going to be relevant this game.
Yeah, he chose not to even bother with the Chemister's Insight. He could save those as creatures came down, I guess.
Sure.
Possibly didn't want to discard any of the cards in his hand. There's really no hurry.
Now, why don't you talk us through, so we talked about Kaya, but she's in the graveyard. So how else can this game end? By the way, 47 life now daily.
This game ends with Skybills drawing a card with no cards in their library, assuming she does not concede, because once the Teferi emblem is here, exile all the permanents. Eventually, when Luis has no deck left, he'll use Teferi's -3 ability to put Teferi back on top of its deck. He'll draw that Teferi, cast it, and just repeat, repeat, repeat. So therefore, he has an inevitability. He won't be able to deck, and eventually she'll run out of cards. And here goes the Chemister's Insight, exiling 2 of her mountains.
She's drawn light up the stage, but cannot cast it. And once again, even your draw step triggers that Teferi emblem. So now Skybills is down to no permanents on the battlefield. And the most she'll have for the rest of the game is 1.
1. There's no way to play more lands in 1 turn, and he'll always exile the land. If she somehow plays land in a 1-drop, he can either kill the 1-drop with a spell in his hand or cast one of these Chemister's Insights to exile the land and the 1-drop.
Salvatto managing his resources well in the early and mid stages, and now he has an embarrassment of them.
Yeah, he was going to have to discard that. He's got enough mana, so he's just going to play it to draw a card. So he's effectively cycling for 5 mana one of the Teferis.
Yeah, and now, yeah, and he minus Teferi on itself already, so here we go with that plan. And there's that mountain. It's not long for this world, just going to stick around for 1 turn. The draw step from Luis Salvatto is going to take care of that. And this is the pattern that we're going to see for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he gets a draw every turn, and she does not get a mountain every turn. So there's even turns where he just doesn't have to do anything at all other than put the Teferi back on top of his deck.
And there's the Teferi.
And the loyalty's high enough, there's not even a window for her to play a mountain and play a 1-drop spell to kind of get a Teferi if she would ever have a mountain available on his turn.
Maybe we could take a look at what it looks like from Salvatto's perspective up there. I mean, we saw him checking his library occasionally.
Gonna go ahead and Thought Erasure. Take the burn spell. I mean, listen, maybe he misclicks.
That's kind of the plan at this point, right? I mean, through normal game actions, this one will result in a Luis Salvatto victory.
Not sure what that misclick could be, but maybe he exiles his own Teferi with his draw step, but it's only a permanent an opponent controls, so he can't even do that.
You're right, he cannot. Mountain, go.
I think one thing she might want to consider, I mean, not that it matters, but you could hold them out until you have a shock or until you have a 1-drop creature, so you can play them both in the same turn. But again, at 47 life,
right,
not going to do much.
Not a lot of pride in getting your opponent from 47 to 45 when you're sitting here playing a mono red deck. So we're just going to go through the motions here, get a little hangout time. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm with David Williams, and we are at Pax East bringing you coverage of the Mythic Invitational, powered by Alma by HP. Thanks so much for joining us wherever you are around the world. We appreciate you taking the time. Pop in and hang out with us.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. We could maybe check in on the other match with Legend and Amazonian instead of watching Luis put Teferi back on top of his deck over and over again. Got another exciting win-in going on behind us.
Now we're in the discard phase here for Skybills, as she has failed to find mountains for the last few turns, so she's just got to discard. And as we said before, this is a loop that Luis Salvatto can do indefinitely. He plays Teferi, minus his targeting itself. That puts it back into his library. If it's his only card, if he doesn't have a library, it becomes the top of his library. He draws that card for the turn and repeats the process over and over. It's a little weird, right? This is kind of like, wait, this is what's going on? But yes, this is exactly what's going on. And at this point, Luis Salvatto has 87 life.
And going.
And not slowing down either. There's a Fanatical Firebrand for Skybills just to send a message. I'm still fighting this fight. But in the meantime, it's all about Teferis.
Let's see how high he can get his life total. I like that game. Try to get to 4 digits. It's gonna be a while.
All right, well, you know what we're gonna do? This one's done. We're calling it. This one's in the books. Now,
we're calling it? It's official?
We're done here. That's it. Luis Salvatto, congratulations. We're gonna call it. We'll update you when the actual game has fully, completely, officially ended. But rather than sit through watching Teferi jump from hand to battlefield to deck and do that loop over and over again, we're going to actually get set up and take a look at our other match. You just mentioned